Whatever goods he has taken, he has to pay money for that. Remember, while doing journal entry, you can take cash also, you can take bank also. So not only that is noting charges, and also you have to apply legally. Buyer promise that you take this check, after 2 months you go to bank, you will get money. For example, you are preparing journal entry in the books of mine means this one. Hello everyone, I am your Adarsh, lecturing Vidhyaashram PU College, the Temple of Excellence. So we are in the session 10 of your topic called Bills of Exchange. So the same kind of problem we are doing in today's session, but you will understand the extra or additional information in today's session. So in today's session, we are talking about noting charges. What is that? Noting charges. What do you mean by noting charges? Why they will charge that noting charges? Everything in detail we will learn in today's session. Now, this will be your question in this. Bill retained by drawer. Bill retained by drawer. Dishonored and noting charges paid by drawer. Now, normally what happens, there is a heading, bill retained by drawer, dishonored and noting charges paid by drawer. Before we get into the question, we will understand what do you mean by noting charges. I'll go back for the small example so that you will understand better. Now, first person we call it as X and second person is Y. So who is the first person? The first person is seller and the second person we call it as buyer. First person is seller, second person is called as buyer. Now, first person also we can call it as drawer and second person we can call it as drawee. Drawer and drawee. Now, in this what happened? There is sales happen between seller to buyer. Example, sales happened, goods transferred. After goods transferred, what buyer has to do? His prime most duty is whatever goods he has taken, he has to pay money for that. Now, so he has promised that after 3 months, I'll pay you cash or money. After 3 months, I'll pay you cash. For that, what they will do? They will prepare a bill of exchange. In the bill of exchange, what buyer will do? He will sign and give it back to the seller. That is a document given by seller to buyer. Buyer, he will sign and give it back to the seller. Now, in this, after 3 months, whatever documents he has given, he gave some check or something, it is bounced. Means whatever the check he has given, which is not encashed. Encashed means which is bounced. As per he promised, after 3 months, he did not give cash. Simple example, I'll give you 5,000 rupees check. I told you that now we are running in the month of September. Example, October you have to present that check. Now, when you presented the check in the month of October, in the bank they said that there is no balance in my account. So what is the value of check? 5,000. When you presented, did you get your cash? Answer is no. You did not get your cash. Then what happens? The noting charges will come. Then what happens? Noting charges. So check presented, but there is no balance. Then what will happen? Check will bounce. For that, bank will charge some penalty. That penalty we call it as noting charges. Now, So the not only that is noting charges, and also you have to apply legally. The legal charges also we can call it as noting charges. All put together, the charges we call it as noting charges. Now, so after 3 months, what drawer will do? He go and present that check. He realized that there is no balance in buyer's account. There is no balance in drawee account. Then what bank will do? Bank will charge some penalty. So he has to go to the lawyer, notary charges, everything. So he has to pay some 100 rupees as noting charges. Remember, the noting charges which is paid by whom? Yes, the noting charges which is paid by drawer. Always noting charges paid by drawer. Clear? Yes. So hope you understood the concept of noting charges. When noting charges will come, if the check is bounced or if the payment is not made on time, whatever time given like 2 months or 3 months, if check is not presented and in cash, then they need to pay a charges called noting charges. Now, this is all about the concept of noting charges. Now we'll come back to your question. On 1/6/2017, Narayan drew a 2 months bill on Manohar. Now, in this, Narayan is what? Seller. Manohar is what? Buyer. Narayan is seller. Manohar is buyer. Now, for rupees 5,000, the value of the bill is 5,000. Now, and the later accepted the same. On the due date, the bill was dishonored. As I told you, dishonored means what? Cancelled. If there is no balance in the account, then check will bounce. That is called dishonored. Now, and noting charges of rupees 200 were paid by the drawer. As I told you, who is the drawer? Drawer means seller. Whatever charges happens for non-availability of balance has to be paid by whom? Drawer. Owner itself has to pay. Now, pass journal entries in the books of both the parties. You need not to do complete journal entries. Just you have to do collection of bills receivable and what happened to that bills receivable. That much only you have to pass. Before we go to answer, we'll understand what kind of journal entry we need to prepare. Once you understood, then we'll go for the problem. Now, journal entries in the books of seller as well as journal entries in the books of buyer. Now we'll come for journal entries in the books of drawer and journal entries in the books of drawee. Journal entries in the books of drawer and journal entries in the books of drawee. How to do this? Simple. In this, first journal entry and second journal entry. Purchase, sales, everything is not required. Only 2 journal entries will come for this and 2 journal entries will come for this. Remember, when check is dishonored, along with that, noting charges also paid. What will be the journal entry? Now, first one. Your first one will be bills receivable account data to buyer account. Bills receivable account data to buyer. What will be the second one? Yes, buyer account. As I told you, if bills are dishonored, cancelled, it is always reverse, ulta entry. Now, buyer account data to bills receivable account, along with this noting charges account. Or else, instead of noting charges, you can also write it as bank account. Better we write bank account. So, bank account. Buyer account data to bills receivable account and to bank account. These are the journal entries we have to write under drawer. Drawer means seller. Now we'll come for the second part. Journal entries in the books of drawee, or else we can call it as buyer. Now, first journal entry will be, as I told you, reverse, ulta of this. For example, you are preparing journal entry in the books of mine means this one. Journal entry in the books of you, it will be ulta. Now, bills receivable account are to buyer. If you reverse this, buyer to bills receivable. Instead of buyer, who is the opposite person? Seller. Seller account data to ulta. Bills receivable opposite is what? Bills payable. Now, seller account data to bills payable account. This is the first journal entry we need to prepare. We'll come for the second one in this. Again, ulta. Ulta means what? Bills receivable and bank will come to debit side and buyer will go to credit side. But will not write buyer. Opposite of buyer is what? Seller. Opposite of bills receivable is what? Bills payable. Now, bills payable account data. Now, bills payable. Then what is this? Bank. Instead of banking, for drawing, we can call it as noting charges. Noting charges account. Noting charges account. Two. We have buyer. Instead of buyer, which one we can use? Yes, we can use it as seller. So, seller. This will be your journal entry. Again, I will repeat. Bills payable account data, noting charges account data to seller account. Now, in this, noting charges and bank both are same. But in the books of drawer, we call it as bank. In the books of drawing, we call it as noting charges. Again, please don't be bias or confusion. As I told you, it is a small concept. Still, we are not in 12 marks problem. Each concept you have to learn. Once you're done with all concepts, you will get clear picture how to solve in your examination. Just you understand. In the problem, if there is check, dishonored and noting charges are there, then how to pass journal entry. This much only you learn now. Later I'll come for 12 marks problem. Then you will understand how to pass 12 marks. While doing 12 marks, you will recall all this concept. Clear? Yes. Now, so these are your journal entry. I'll go out of the screen. Please take screenshot of this so that for doing answer, it will be useful. Now, so these are the journal entry in the books of what? Seller. Or else we can call it as drawer. Now, what is the first journal entry? Bills receivable account data to Manohar account. Why it is Manohar account? I'll go back to your format. Bills receivable account data to buyer. Again, I'll go back to your question. As I told you, first person is always what? Seller. And next, the second person is who? Manohar. Manohar is what? Buyer. Yes. Bills receivable account data to buyer account. Bills receivable account data to who is the buyer in this problem? Manohar. Manohar account. What is the amount? 5,000. Where 5,000 is given? I'll go back to your question. See, your problem is all about 5,000. So we are doing for 5,000. So, bills receivable account data to Manohar account 5,000 and 5,000. This is the first thing. Clear? Yes. We'll go for the second one. Now, Manohar account data to bills receivable and cash. I'll go back to your format. Buyer account data to bills receivable, bank. Remember, while doing journal entry, you can take cash also, you can take bank also. Both are one and the same. For the safer side, always go with bank. Why? Because in companies, always they go with check. So that's why we call it as bank. Normally, the cash transactions are very less in companies. Now, buyer account data to bills receivable to bank account. Bank are cash. Now, who is the buyer in this? Manohar. Now, 2 bills receivable to bank account. Now, Manohar account, there are 2 bills receivable to bank account. Now, what is the amount? As I told you, bills receivable is 5,000. What is the noting charges? I'll go back to your question. As per the question, the noting charges is 200. I'll go back. Now, see how much they have taken, 200. If you add both, how much you will get? 5,200. Now, 5,200. Any doubt? Hope there is no doubt. This is 5,200. Manohar account data, 2 bills receivable to cash account. Hope you are clear. Now, this is all about journal entries in the books of seller, that is drawer. Now, once the journal entry is done, remember you have to write narrations also. What kind of narrations you have to write? Now, bills received from Manohar. Manohar means what? Buyer. From buyer, seller has taken bills. Bill dishonored. Dishonored means check bounced. Now, and noting charges paid. Noting charges paid by whom? Seller, drawer itself. Clear? Yes. Date 1st June, 4th August. Why it is 4th August? So it is how many months? 2 months. Yeah. 6th means 7, 8. 2 months. So it will be 1/6/2017 to 1/8/2017. This will be what? 2 months. For this, how many grace period we have? Yes, we have 3 days. Plus 3 days. It will be what? 4/8/2017. Any doubt? As I told you, 3 days grace period is common in every bills of exchange. If the 3rd day of grace period is government holiday, what we will do? We will come back 1 day prior. Clear? Yes. Now, this is done with journal entries in the books of seller. Now we'll come for journal entry in the books of buyer. Now, Narayana account regard to bills payable account. I'll go back to your format. Seller account regard to bills payable. Who is the seller in this? Narayan. Narayan account regard to bills payable 5,000 and 5,000. Narration. Bill accepted. Clear? Yes. We'll go for the next one. Bills payable account that are noting charges to Narayan account. I'll go back to your format. Bills payable account noting charges to seller. Bills payable noting charges to seller. Who is the seller in this problem? Narayan. Now, bills payable is how much? 5,000. What is the noting charges? 200. What is the total value? It should come here. 5,200. It should be in the same line. 5,200. 5,000 plus 200. Together we should add 5,200. That will be Narayan account. Hope you are clear. Yes. So, being dishonored and noting charges due. So what happens means, if check bounced, whose mistake is this? Sellers or buyers? Yes, buyer's mistake. Buyer promised that you take this check, after 2 months you go to bank, you will get money. But after 2 months, if I go to bank people said in the buyer account there is no money. Then whose mistake? Whether it is my mistake or buyer mistake? Yes, it is a buyer mistake. But who paid the charges? Seller paid. Seller itself paid the charges. Why seller paid? Later he will collect from the buyer. So how much you have to pay me now? 5,000. What is the charges I paid on behalf of you? 200. How much I will collect from you? 5,000 plus 200. 5,200 I will collect from you. Clear? Yes. This is all about noting charges. So in today's session, we understood check dishonored already you know, but noting charges you understood in today's session. So this is all about your today's session. I'll end this session with saying that learn concept and earn marks.